We don't at the moment. We have programmers based in different places, but we
Mhm.
don't have scouts in different parts of the world. We rely on markets and events like Diorama
Mhm.
to be present at and to meet with filmmakers and to find out about upcoming films. So we definitely attend a lot of festivals and markets in different regions of the world to make connections and to be aware of what's happening down
Mhm.
there.
Shane, straight away, the first question: what is the grand vision, the programming vision of Hot Docs? What kind of documentaries you look for?
It's a big question. And I think the simple answer is we are looking for theatrical style documentaries that
Mhm.
tell us about the world or tell us stories in a new or interesting way, either stories that we didn't know about or things that we thought we knew about, but are shown to us in a different way by documentary filmmakers. It's a festival that was started by documentary filmmakers 29 years ago. So it has, creativity and creation and supporting filmmakers in its DNA.
Mhm. When we talk about the grand, you very simply put it across. But is there something called a hot doc or a great doc? How do you define it?
You kind of know it when you see it. But I think for us, we're always looking for, as I said, stories that are brought to us or told to us in a new and interesting way. We're looking for innovation in form, in the way the stories are told, but we're also looking for, innovative stories or interesting stories. So not every documentary is going to be, the most creatively made, but some of them have such compelling stories and characters and subjects that we have to show them at the festival. We have a
Mhm.
very curious audience who is interested in the world. So we are
Mhm.
definitely on the lookout for interesting stories from around the world.
When we look at a documentary, it's all about information supplied or offered in an interesting manner, either by form or using the subject. Uh, is there a particular cinematic approach as far as the form of the film is concerned that you look for? What do you call a well-made film? Okay, one can understand technically well-made film, but as far
Mhm.
as the form or the structure of the film is concerned, how would you define a well-made film, a well-formed film?
I think to me, in my mind, and the more I work in documentary, the more I realize that documentaries are made in the editing room. The story is shaped and told
Mhm.
in the editing room. So editing is crucial in documentary in bringing us into the world and connecting us with the subject that we're watching the film about. So editing is important, and cinematography as well. I mean, the documentaries have never been more beautifully made or well crafted than a lot of the documentaries that we're seeing at the moment. So, it's got to look good, it's got to sound good. We have to be able to understand what's happening on
Mhm.
screen. And we don't want anything to take us out of the viewing experience on the technical side when we're watching a documentary. We want to be able to see and hear what's going on screen so that we can connect with the story that the filmmaker is trying to tell us. And of course, as I said, not every documentary is the most beautifully shot or well crafted. But that's okay too, because it's about the power of the storytelling. And this is where editing is very, very important in shaping that story and bringing us into the world that the filmmaker is introducing us to.
How many films are submitted to Hot Docs every year?
We get around 3,000 submissions each year. That's features, mid length films, and short films from
Mhm.
around the world. And we screen in the festival about 200 to 230 films. And last year we had films from 66 different countries represented. So, like I said, we're always looking to represent stories from as many countries as we can in the festival. And that was a festival high to have 66 countries represented in the festival.
And
So
what is the system of selection? Do you have preview panels? How do
we
you
do.
how do you distribute the films to
Yes.
preview panels?
Yes, we have various programming teams who are
Mhm.
looking at work. All of our teams are paid programmers. We don't rely on volunteers for the programming process, so everyone is committed and accountable for the work
Mhm.
that they see. And on the international feature side, we have a team of about 7 or 8 looking at the films, including myself. And then we come together on a regular basis to meet and to discuss the films that we've seen and the films that we like, bring those up for further discussion. Then other programmers will look at them. I'll look at them as well. And then we'll sort of shape the program for the festival based on the work that we're seeing and the work that we think is strong storytelling, well-made films that will work for our audience. We also think about the audience and our audience here in Toronto and the films that we think that they will respond to. So that's an important factor that we're considering when we're shaping the program for the festival.
Do you also have a system of pre-selection or film scouts spread over various regions who suggest films to you?
We don't at the moment. We have programmers based in different places, but we
Mhm.
don't have scouts in different parts of the world. We rely on markets and events like Diorama
Mhm.
to be present at and to meet with filmmakers and to find out about upcoming films. So we definitely attend a lot of festivals and markets in different regions of the world to make connections and to be aware of what's happening down
Mhm.
there. Latin America, South America is starting to become a booming region for documentary
Mhm.
filmmaking
Mhm.
because there are agencies supporting and funding films and promoting those films. So we are definitely present in that region as well. So we can't be everywhere, but we would like to be in as many places as possible to make those connections that will let filmmakers know that Hot Docs is interested in their work and show them that there is a path to a festival like Hot Docs.
Shane, in the late 1950s, 60s, 70s, maybe 80s, there was a very well entrenched system of broadcasting documentaries on television. And that used to be the support system, the lifeline of documentary filmmakers. Slowly, that gave way to entertainment television channels where soaps and daily soaps and series they use up the space for which was meant for documentary films, and then came specific documentary film channels like Discovery and others, which again created some space. And now there is yet another trend. There are OTT platforms, but between the discovery and the arrival of OTT platforms, there was space which was almost getting shrunk for documentary filmmakers. Uh, do you think these are the right times for the documentary filmmakers with television channels still around, OTT platforms looking for documentary films, and a number of festivals looking for documentary films? Is it a good time for documentary filmmakers?
It's a great time for documentary filmmakers. I think there's never been, in many ways, a better time for documentary filmmakers. And partly, as you said, because of the rise of different platforms, because of the continued existence of broadcast platforms, but the addition of streaming platforms, OTT, various ways of seeing documentary, including things like, airlines are a great place for documentaries to be seen as well. So there are many avenues and venues for documentary. And I think documentary as a quote unquote entertainment medium is also, more widely accepted and enjoyed by audiences. I think the rise of docuseries and theatrical documentaries has seen audiences grow for documentary.
Mhm.
They're not necessarily seen as being good for you, in the way that they used to be. They are seen as, valuable and entertaining and educating and enjoyable. So there's so many ways of telling stories in documentaries now. The form has evolved and the audience has evolved with it. So there are certainly more ways for documentaries to be seen. I don't know that it's easier to get a film funded than it used to be unless you have the right relationships or you're telling the right story. But I see way more pitching forums and markets and support avenues for documentaries to get out into the world. So there's a growing, booming network of advisors, of consultants, of programs that will help documentary filmmakers on their journey out into the world. And there's more sales agents than there ever were before. So wherever there's opportunity, money follows. So, and industry follows as well. So we've certainly seen a big increase, even in just the 7 years that I've been at Hot Docs in the ecosystem of documentary. So I believe one of the best times has ever been for
Mhm.
documentary filmmakers and for emerging documentary filmmakers. I think there are more supports in place than ever for emerging documentary filmmakers. It's never enough, but there are way more than there used to be.